let's talk about the golf grip. There's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misunderstanding, and frankly, there's a lot of changing that's happened in the golf grip in the last 10 to 15 years. So, in around 2000, 2010, some of the old-time players talked about how the younger players and the new, stronger players were going to a stronger grip, which meant they were rolling the hand over. The old-time grip was more neutral, and it got stronger and stronger and stronger until recently, where it's going back to neutral. So let's start understanding the basics of the grip. You used to think that the grip was played with neutral hands, just like you were passing a volleyball. So you'd be slightly down the left side of the club if you're right-handed with your left hand, and slightly down the right with your right. And being down this center line slightly left would be a very neutral grip, which means that you would come through with the back of your hand. And that would sort of force a push or keep it into a cut and prevent the hook. As players got stronger and stronger and more athletic, like Tiger, they went to a stronger lead grip, which means it rolls over a little more and a little more until now players are almost here where they can see 2 to 3 knuckles, but not 5, 2 to 3. This hand always plays off of this hand. So if this was a clock, this is the big hand and this is the small hand. This gives you the hours of really weak or really strong. And then this hand works with it and sometimes against it, depending on how you hold the club, to force your hands into a proper grip. So let's go through a neutral grip into a strong grip. We'll get some close-ups, and hopefully by the end of this, you'll understand what grip you need to play good golf. So to have a neutral grip, I'm gonna come in, drop this hand into the left side, and it goes down the left side of your alignment on your grip. This hand drops in and snuggles over the top. Now, there are really 3 primary grips that people use. The interlocking, which interlocks these 2 fingers, holds the club, and grips. So these 2 fingers are interlocked. This is an interlocking grip. So if somebody says, what's an interlocking grip? That's what it is. If it's an overlap, it means the hands are in the same place, but instead of winding these 2 together, this one lays over the top. This creates a slightly weaker connection between the 2 hands. The baseball grip does not overlap the hands and creates sort of a stronger right hand, which limits the turnover because your hands are farther apart. The farther apart your hands are on a club, the harder it is to turn them over. The more overlapping it is, the easier it smooths over. If I say lay it over, I mean interlock, but you're welcome to do anything you want. So let's go with a neutral grip. What does that actually mean? I'm gonna drop this hand in, slightly there. I'm gonna drop this hand in and interlock and lay it over the top so there is no space between my palm and my fingers. When there's no space between the hands are joined together and they're working together. The more space I get, the more one hand begins to overpower the other, and it's the backhand. So as the backhand gets a little stronger, it rolls under. The reason this is called strong is because when I put them neutral again, the club is closed. So I grab it underneath and feel like I'm holding it open, but when the 2 arms end up together and in parallel, the club closes. That's strong. So I'm gonna go to neutral, drop in neutral, and I'm just gonna hit some really simple shots to show you what a neutral grip should look like throughout the swing. Now this ball is only flying 120, 130. It's a pitching wedge into the wind. But the goal here is to get a straight flight. So neutral, neutral. I want my hands to work together on the takeaway. When it gets really strong, people tend to really pull this hand in. So I like to be a little more neutral on both hands and try to come through with the back of my hands. That's why I would be neutral. Now in a neutral grip, we're talking about hitting with the back of our hand throughout the swing, the back of the hand. With a stronger grip, we're talking about chopping with the butt of our hand more. We square with the butt and the hand pushes through. Now, there's some great videos And I'll link them below that talk about the transition. So I'm going to touch on that shortly. So again, I'm going to strengthen my grip a little more. And this hand has to still say snug, but now you'll see that you're looking at the underside of this hand and the butt of the other hand. This is a slightly stronger grip, and this will usually cause a draw for me. Now they say that a strong grip, the stronger the grip, the finish ends up showing the palm to the hand at the finish. So a strong grip ends up showing my palm, whereas a neutral grip ends up showing the club vertical so I could drop it. So when you look at most of the old timers, they used a very neutral grip, very weak, and they came through the ball very weak. That ball goes up, it floats right, doesn't have a lot of power or draw, but it's softer and it lands softer. This is a stronger grip. And that ball, I turn and I end up with my palm, and that ball draws into the wind. So in this case, I'm playing with a slight crosswind, so I might use a stronger grip to bring the ball into the wind to guide it to make it drop. Now at this point, you're wondering, how do you choose your grip? Well, what's your ball flight? The biggest mistake amateurs make is they adjust their grip with this backhand. They reach over, they reach under, they reach over, they reach under. This is the small hand, this is the big hand. This hand determines the proper place for the backhand. In other words, if I'm here with a neutral grip, this hand needs to be over the top because we don't want the hands separated. We want them snug. So if I reach under, I now have a separation where you can see this crease in my palm, okay? This might feel like you're getting stronger, but you're making your hands fight each other. So if I want a stronger grip, I still need to have these hands over the top and snug together. But if I want it stronger, I rotate this hand a little first and I put this one in the same place. Now I've got a stronger grip to draw the ball. I finish here, but my hands are still working together. As opposed to, this hand is neutral and this hand reaches way under. Now I have a propensity to hook the ball because that hand's going to take control, because that separation removes the ability of the two hands to actually work together in the golf swing. So now we understand that this is a weak grip and this is a stronger grip. And if I want to be strong, I put the strong in and I put this here, and now I'm going to have to really push my hands out in front of me. And for a punch shot, I may actually do this to hold the club face from releasing. But that's not a good full shot. That strength in the front grip and the strength in the back hand is going to either prevent the release or force a release that makes a pull. That's not necessarily a good way to golf. In the wind, if I wanted to hit a knockdown, I may do that. I may show you all my knuckles. I may reach under. I may press, get the club straight, and punch the ball with no release. But my grip is working against my swing. That can be helpful in this scenario because working against my swing prevents the release. Now, at some point, I swing hard enough in this position that I have to release and I hook because I've turned it over, because this hand at some point with the strength is going to take over and going to take the ball left, or it's going to hold it way back and go right, but mostly left. So now how do you choose your grip? Well, for the most part, your swing path is the most important part in golf, because if you can get a straight swing path, you can create a strike that goes straight. So with a neutral grip and a straight swing path, I get a very straight ball. That's neutral, so I end up here instead of showing my palm. The important part of this is the neutral grip. If I get very, very weak in this grip, when I bring it up, look how open the club is. So now I'm weak in here, and if I don't force this shoulder over, which is not a good way to swing, I can't square the club. So a weak grip, way open, is really only used when someone is coming across the ball, because they're coming so far into out that they had to leave the club open to get the ball to go straight. This is where someone says fix your grip, but you have to fix your swing path. For now, we're talking about the club path. So you start with a neutral grip with both hands. So this one comes in slightly on the left side. This one comes over the top and snugs. There's no release in here. The club is square. I'm gonna start with just a 60-yard shot to try to get my club path to come through the ball nice and square every time. Once I feel like I can hit this club path with my grip, I can adjust my grip slightly stronger if I need to. But for the most part, the neutral grip promotes the straight line club. So how do you actually start changing your grip? Well, the first thing is not to care where the ball's going. Try to get neutral in your grip, either down the center or just a little off center left. Try to get neutral in this other grip, which means dropping it in over the top with no space. And I just want to hit short shots. I don't care about the speed or the power. I just want to try to hit a straight shot where I can control the club head. Because if I get to a point here, and there's going to be a point where I'm too strong and too under, I'm not able to control this club head through impact without getting my hand so far in front that it gets obnoxious, okay? You always need to have forward press, but the more you go strong, the farther the press needs to be, and that'll cause problems on its own. So we want to get to a point where we have a little forward press and a moderately neutral grip that we can strike the ball on the downswing with the hands in front, but not have to force them so far to keep the head square. So I'm gonna hit a couple more balls here. That was thin. And one last ball. That's better. So my alignment and my swing path at this point when I'm working on this grip change is right down this edge around the white pole through these wires. But my goal is to be neutral, and swing short and just try to drag through. And I can kind of tell the strength of my grip by the top of the swing. Like I said, if I'm coming through and I'm finishing here, my grip has been a little more neutral. But if I'm finishing here with this palm, my grip is a little stronger. So do it again. Shaft forward, neutral grip, take the press, punch the ball. So that's the gist of how I start to work with someone on explaining how the grip works. Now, I'll put some close-up pictures here and there to sort of explain the difference. How do you test your grip? How do you actually know? A second way to tell how good your grip actually is I'm here and I get a really strong grip on the ball, and here's the ball. What if I reach to this ball? Oh, I don't like that feeling. How about this ball? Ooh, I really don't like that feeling. This ball? Ooh, I don't like that feeling. This ball, don't like it. This? Yeah, perfect. Now, if I get to a neutral grip and I reach for this ball, I could hit that. This ball, I could hit that. This ball, I could hit that. See, I have a larger range where my contact point is good. And that's how you can figure out how is my grip for my mechanics of my swing. So that's the end of the grip. At this point, I'd like to say, hey, if you enjoy these videos, if this is information that's helpful to you, just maybe click the like and subscribe just so I can notify you when I make more of these. When I make simple videos that I don't think are mass marketed, I turn off the notification bell, so I'm not going to annoy you. I'm only going to put out the notifications when I put out a video that has real good information that I think people are looking for. I promised I'd keep this under 15 minutes, so that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Press and send.